No second chances, no support, and nowhere to go but the finish line. Day and night, non-stop, racing the clock as much as they race themselves, across 4 continents and countless challenges. The ultimate prize is simply surviving. The journey, the tears, and the triumphs. Welcome to Wild Races. For the first time, Costa Rica's wild coastline and tropical diversity welcome Wild Races to her shores.
I think Costa Rica, it's an incredible country for adventure racing because there's a lot of variety in very short distances, complete different landscapes. We have dry forest, cloud forest, rainforest, we have tropical alpine vegetation, we have jungle, swamps, rivers, everything but snow or desert, we have it here.
And we've got all these little natural biomes going on in different areas, whether you go from north to south or from down and up.
Almost 30% of Costa Rica territory is natural reserve, which means that it's protected by the government, that nothing industrialized will happen there. Only, let nature grow as it should be, right? Like our tourist institute say, Costa Rica has no artificial ingredients.
I like the vibe. The people here are all very friendly. They're all very proud of their country and their culture. The hospitality here has that feel like, come here and we'll show you a great adventure. They have things set up for people of all ages and abilities to get out, experience the wildlife, experience the vistas. Anybody can come here and get their piece of adventure.
Adventure racing is basically moving the human being beyond limits and towards, that very thin line between the rational and the not so rational. We're talking about enjoying nature, enjoying high performance, doing teamwork, but within, the human limits, out there in the most.
You get to the point when the mental part actually takes part, and it's a huge thing on this kind of race. Try to deal all the low moments and go through all those hard times.
We really like to push ourselves and be, picantes about stuff, and it's important to take advantage of that energy in a different way. Take it easy, let's keep our pace, let's do our own race, let's be smart about it.
It's a risk, but I think some of the better teams are beginning to realize they make a lot of their gains early in the race, and then everyone's just so trashed by the second and third day. It's hard to really push on those days. So I think people are taking that risk and moving hard early on in the race and then kind of seeing where the chips fall later on.
We'll suffer immensely to get to the lead and maintain the lead. And here our added element is the heat and the high humidity.
At the end of the day, all the teams are out there. We're trying to get through this kind of superhuman course that you shouldn't be covering this distance with your team in this amount of time. At the end of the day, everyone's kind of looking out for each other, and the ultimate goal is just to get to that finish line as a strong, cohesive unit, and it's amazing that it actually can happen.
I get to see the world and see a lot of things that very few people get to see, and at the same time I get to push my own limits, and I get to see, well, what am I capable of, and what am I capable of with a great team.
One of the main things that we go to these races is to see a lot of different landscapes and stuff. We've just been to Norway a couple of weeks ago, and it was snow, and now just standing in the middle of the rainforest. That's perfect.
You can train for up to 24-hour races, but when you go above that, it's a mental game, and it's about motivating your teammates and letting them motivate you when you need it. And I mean, it's more or less a question of time before one of you is going to crash and burn, and then you just hope that your teammates are fresh enough to pull you through it, and then you get out on the other side. I've signed up for this myself, so to get through it.
We've been at it for 12 years, and for us, a race like this in Costa Rica, it's very exciting. This is definitely the biggest race for us in the year. First of all, go out there and enjoy Costa Rica and the nature. Well, we're also competitive, so we'll try to go as fast as we can, and at the end the race is against us, and that's how it's going to be decided.
I'm I'm looking forward to have a good time with my friends because they're like family now. I think like in any adventure race, you have to plan very well and stop to think about instead of going wild, you know.
And just having a good time and that everybody else enjoys Costa Rica, which is something very important for us as local team.
Our team's now acclimatised for the adventure ahead, experiencing just a small piece of this amazing ecosystem.
We planned to go to Costa Rica a half a year ago, and then I start to look in the books what to do best for the heat. And we think the heat will be a major factor for this race. So that's one of the things we train for the most. And we try to acclimatize for the heat by training in the sauna back home. We put some bikes inside the sauna. It's at the University of Copenhagen. They have like a big sauna of a classroom size. So we went in there and trained for half an hour in 35 degrees. Start to sweat a lot. The theory is that if you train, the body can acclimatize for this if you just do it shorter period a day. And it's just that you learn how to sweat and learn how to cool down your main core temperature. It's something you have to teach yourself. I think if you're out in the heat and you don't take it serious and you start to suffer, then it's game over.
I think with age you get more endurance. I mean, for the shorter races, us younger guys have the advantage, but the older you get, the more experience you get, and you know yourself and your teammates better, and you know how hard can you push without pushing it over the limit. I think that's pretty much the essence.
For this race, because of the part of the country it's going to be held on, the heat, the humidity and the heat are going to be a key.
For example, here, if you start feeling bad, it doesn't matter if you don't know that there's going to be no water, but you have to drink everything you have right now and take care of yourself immediately, and then you see what you do. But you cannot ration it when you're hydrated, because then it's no way out. I mean, it'll take you half a day to kind of recover in the shades, or you're done. There's issues about heat with humidity. It's like the wind chill factor, but it happens the same with humidity. For example, 32 degrees here, 34 degrees here will feel like 50. So it's a very strong feeling, and it's very mental when you're racing.
Well, to eat in this heat is very difficult. So we're planning to eat more like liquid food, like, shakes and protein shakes and stuff, because you're sweating too much, you have, problems to breathe, and you feel this need to drink and drink and drink. So eating stuff is really hard, and you're gonna feel like you're choking. So it's better, to take liquid food.
Do a smart race is super key. Like, people just spring at the beginning, like thinking they're like in the northern countries where weather kind of like keeps pretty much even all the time. But here, the heat and other facts that weather brings makes like super key to pace the whole team. Technically, like that kind of relationship will make us like a type of connection, and we kind of like even express ourselves during the race and try to be honest with how we're feeling. And the other thing is kind of like read our faces in terms of like, no, we should slow down, like that guy is like doing not too well right now, so let's just like help him like carrying the backpack, or just like doing something that we can like help the team move a little bit faster.
It's definitely a challenge, because those low points kick in. It's so easy to become stubborn and say, no, I'm fine, I can deal. And that's where your teammates really need to know you to be able to say, no, he's not okay, we need to help him out, and we need to, do what we got to do to help him out so he's better in the long term, because if he stays this way, he's not going to get to the finish.
Well, I think the team was very conservative in our race approach in Ecuador, mainly because we didn't know what to expect, how our bodies would react to the elevation and the altitude. Costa Rica is hot. The heat, I think we've all raced in the heat before. It slows you down, you got to drink more.
If you slip up in the heat for even 10, 15 minutes and you don't have liquids in you and you're not on top of it, things can go downhill really fast.
So we're going to have to, watch out for severe dehydration, which can lead to, puking and diarrhea and nausea, and just needing to lay down on the side of the trail with your feet up for a while.
Cooling off at night, I think it's going to be big. Like, we'll really take advantage of that, and we're going to try and move fast in the dark as opposed to in the daytime. So maybe we'll take it easy in the day and then really focus on pushing hard through the night.
I personally have a fear of snakes, but at the same time, a really strong respect for the animal. Having to swim across a river during a trek section that have crocodiles could be quite interesting. I'm told we're supposed to make a lot of splashing noises and that sort of thing. But bring it on, it's all part of the experience.
I think everyone knows that it's you against the race course, but you're just trying to get each other through the race.
With preparations almost complete, the jungle beckons as teams head towards the coastal town of Puntarenas.
Well, it looks like we're headed to Puntarenas right now, which is on the eastern side of the Nicoya Gulf. I think our team actually has come together quite well after the last race. The last race was the first time I had joined Team Technu. So you're always stronger the more races you do together. I'm really looking forward to this race. I think we're going to have a good showing. He's petrified of snakes, absolutely petrified.
He screams like a little girl.
He does. It's quite humorous.
I do like the news that there's only 2 kinds of snake venom that all these snakes can discharge. And so all the little towns, anywhere you go, you're going to find the 2 antivenoms. And as long as I know they're there, I can make it to the antivenom and survive.
It's going to be interesting. Hopefully, now that the raining season has started a bit earlier, that might be our advantage, as we're used to colder weather. It's not been as bad as I expected with the heat.
We're here to try to do the best possible and have fun and enjoy the race.
Yes, we have asked for a very strict mandatory gear in all sections: trekking, paddling, and mountain biking. They'll be paddling in the Gulf, and they have more than 300 boats at nighttime doing fishing. We want to make sure that they'll have all the necessary lights to be located during the night, as well as if they do get run over for any bad circumstance, that they have a strobe light where we can find them in the event of an accident. Reflective vest for the mountain biking, because it's well known in the world that Costa Rican drivers are kind of crazy, so we want to make sure that everybody gets to see them while they're on the road. And during the trekking as well, we've asked them for some first aid and stuff like that, because in Costa Rica the weather makes small wounds and small cuts infected very fast, and this can cause a lot of problems for racers, even cause fever.
We have just got our bins for our equipment at the transition areas, one for the trekking sections and one for the kayak.
Teams now gather for the crucial briefing.
It's very drastic, the changes in the elevation and climate. They'll be paddling in a very dry island and without hardly any water, and then they're going to cross over the continental divide, and there's going to start raining, so they're going to be cold, and then they're going to go up the mountain, so it's going to be a little bit colder, then they're going to get back into the heat. So it's going to change a lot throughout the entire course.
Now we're just gonna double check all the maps and all the checkpoint is correct, because one checkpoint at the wrong place, that's not gonna be good in nighttime.
The first part is going to be really hot. The kayaking will be hot. The first trek will be really hot. The mountain bike, oh my God. 138 kilometers, I have done that mountain bike, and it's like that. I think 20 hours of mountain bike. I think it's a hard race.
There's a big rafting section that it says right in the rulebook to watch out for the plentiful and very large crocodiles, and we're not allowed to jump out of the raft, so that'll be pretty interesting.
Little by little, keep it constant but powerful the whole way through.
We like to make it one of the toughest races in the circuit. For us, it's also important that the standard is high, that those who come and race in Costa Rica go back and say, man, it was this close, and man, it was gnarly, it was beautiful.
The course ahead takes teams of 4 over 530 non-stop kilometres, comprising mountain running, trekking, kayaking, mountain biking, ropes, horse riding, tubing, zip lines and orienteering. Teams now prepare for the 8-kilometre kayak from Puntarenas to the abandoned prison on Coco's Beach. The tranquil shores await our teams, though let's not be fooled as there is more in store as the full strength of this tropical climate has yet to appear. With last-minute preparations underway, a sense of trepidation sets in amongst the field. Is this the calm before the storm?
I live for the sport and I'm excited to get out there and start racing. It's always a little weird at race start. You're not quite sure how you're going to feel. You got a lot of built-up energy and emotions. But a couple hours into it, that's when I start to kind of feel in my element and keep at it for 3-4 days. So excited to get this thing started.
Nervous, excited, terrified.
Yeah, it's warm and it's 7:12 in the morning. So it's going to get a lot warmer still.
It's something special in this race because there's so much pressure right now.
This is the worst part, the minutes before, every time.
This is our home. Everybody's looking that we're going to represent, but so this is a special race, definitely for us.
Start the adventure.
I've done enough of these to know what's coming. Just trying to isolate myself just to get ready mentally. It's going to be a tough battle. It's good teams, and I think the heat's going to be the biggest factor. So I'm looking forward to it.
We are on the beach, getting ready to start the Costa Rica expedition race. We're gonna have a little prologue run, and then we get to hit the boats and paddle. This team looks at it as little small pieces at a time, so we're not really worried about the overall picture right now. We're thinking more, let's just kind of get out there and get a feel for who's around us and take it piece by piece, and we'll worry about the details later.
Feeling great. Yeah. Looking forward to a great race, and yeah, we are a little concerned about the heat, but yeah, we're gonna cope with it as good as we can, and yeah, we're looking forward to some great experience in the kayaks this morning. Our goal for this race is to reach the finish line as a whole team.
Our strategy is to go safe for the first 2 or 3 days, and then for the rest 2 days just try and race or just survive.
Super exciting. It's a beautiful day. We're ready to start the race. It's wonderful to see all things working, making plans, different plans to do the first part. So we're ready to have our own plan and ready to do it.
It's almost go time, though one last twist is in store. Our teams are sent on a pre-race orienteer through the town, an unexpected stage aimed at testing the athletes even before the gun goes off.
Right now we're just cruising around the town so people can get to know crazy people, adventure races. The real beginning is going to be at 8 on the kayak.
It's the jungle of the city.
Urban jungle.
The urban
Concrete jungle.
There we go.
Of Puntarenas.
Hopping in the paddle cold. Good way to like pull a little neck muscle or something. Now we're all loose. Got a little sweat going, but I had that when I woke up and got out of the shower this morning.
This is the cathedral of Puntarenas. We gotta do another checkpointing here, and after that we're gonna be ready to come back to the kayaking place. So far so good.
On our way to the start.
Teams are warming to the task ahead. Now get set for the start. A sense of excitement mixed with anxiety now looms.
Let's go, guys.
Let's go. Goal time. Goal, guys. Remember the goal. Get that finish line fast.
Yeah.
Everything we do is about getting there fast.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
We got it. It's ours.
We got sleep in 2 days.
Yeah. Just waiting to start. We're feeling positive, having a lot of energy, so we just need to make it happen.
Super godt. Kampkongen, der er så klar.
I love it, man. I love it.
Next week, teams now paddle into the unknown current of Costa Rica's shifting tides. It's all heating up, with some breaking early, whilst others revelling in the challenge.
This is going to be really hard and really hot.